the controversy is growing over President Obama's upcoming visit to Hiroshima. Later this month, the president will become the first sitting leader of our country to visit the site where America dropped the first atomic bomb. But critics are saying just the visit alone is just the latest in what they call the president's apology tour. The White House is insisting that that is not the case.
Is there any concern that the president going to Hiroshima will be interpreted as an apology?
If people do interpret it that way, they'll be interpreting it wrongly. So I don't think that there's much risk of that.
But while saying no apology is in the offing, Ernest also said the president's visit to Hiroshima will signal his vision for a world free of nuclear weapons. Ernest citing what he calls America's, quote, special responsibility as the only nation to ever use nuclear weapons. Tony, your thoughts?
You know, this is one of those things where if it weren't Barack Obama, I could probably understand the historic significance of an American president making a visit to Hiroshima, particularly to talk about nuclear proliferation. I think his track record, though, when he does go around the world is to always seem to apologize, to always subordinate American power, American exceptionalism. So he's not really the best messenger. And there is another part of me that really does feel sad to the idea that, you know, we've never had a Japanese leader visit Pearl Harbor. We've never asked them to. Yeah. We've never had them come apologize for such a travesty, which created the circumstances by which we entered the war in the first place and therefore then had to end it in Hiroshima and Nagasaki. So it really is a kind of a complicated decision, I think, in many respects.
Sandra?
Yeah, I mean, a lot of the research I read leading up to this, there were critics, obviously, but there were some who looked at this and said, this represents a new level of maturity that Japan and the United States has reached. Do you think he should go?
No, I really don't.
I don't either.
I really don't think he should go, because I do think, unfortunately for Barack Obama, this is in his own mind probably a victory lap of sorts. He's been really the American president who, again, I think has made it abundantly clear to the world that he doesn't believe that we're any more or less exceptional than anybody else. And I think he probably has a list of firsts that he can probably try to do in the next 8 months before he has to leave office. And this was one of them. And I think it could potentially be insulting to so many people who lost lives.
Fresh off his trip from Cuba, I mean, the choices of the places he's visiting are concerning, to say the least. I have problems with this, and I would really like it if President Obama stopped at Pearl Harbor first, and I would like it if he brought some World War II veterans with him, just symbolically. They're the greatest generation. Knowing my grandfather was a World War II veteran, they're dying. There's not a lot of them left, and I just don't know what kind of signal this sends to the greatest generation. And again, I think if it were another president, if it were President Bush or someone that hadn't had this long history of apology tours, I wouldn't have such a problem with it. But I think he's doing this for political reasons, and those political reasons I don't agree with. So
is this just what you're thinking, or have you talked with your dad about this? Senator John McCain, what does he say?
I mean, I haven't talked about it in explicit detail, but I know my father, and I can say that he agrees with me. I think I mean, veterans are obviously huge to my family in different ways, and I think you have to be very careful with this greatest generation that are dying off, and what signal you're sending to them in their late age, and I think he would agree with me.
Dagan?
Yeah, to my Uncle Gordon, who enlisted when he was 16 and lied about his age and fought in the Pacific, who's no longer with us. It's the men who are still here and all those who fought for our freedom then and even now. But in terms of visiting Hiroshima, if the president will get up there and talk about Japan's role in the war and why President Truman decided to drop the bomb in the first place, something that is sorely missing from the history that's being discussed in Japan.
Amen, Dagan. Seriously.
Yeah, no, but I think you guys have both made cases to where if he did go, and if you were to, you know, take the other side of this and say it's okay for him to go, that there's a right way to do it.
Well, look, you know, George H.W. Bush, who fought in the Pacific Theater as a young Navy pilot and 18 years old, was shot down in the Pacific Theater, went back and visited the island, I think it was called Chimichima, and met with some of the people from the Japanese military at the time. I'm all for reconciliation. I'm all for healing. But I don't know if this president's the right.
So what I'm saying is that you're all for the pitch forward to the future, as long as we don't lose our connection with the history.
And
I don't think he's the right messenger.
Have it as a teaching moment.
But if a Japanese leader visited Pearl Harbor as a recourse to that too, I would have less of a problem with this.
John Kerry already paid them a visit, so now this is the follow-on.
Dagan gets the last word on that. A big debate over maternity leave. I can't wait to hear what you say, Tony. It's happening after the CEO of Yahoo is defending her decision to go back to work a month after having twins. Is there a right or a wrong time to return to the job?